Stepping up security, campus police are now working to install cameras in the Crest neighborhood.
Making history, Elon's first nursing program cohort is off to a successful start.
And Elon remembers, honoring the lasting legacy of Vice President Emerita Joe Watts Williams.
Those stories and more.
Elon Local News starts now.
Live from the Jane and Brian Williams studio at Elon University School of Communications, you're watching Elon Local News.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Chloe Franklin.
And I'm Baylor Rodman. We begin tonight with vaccines approved for children, new confirmed cases on campus, and a sit-down interview with those in charge. As of today, Elon University reported 33 total active COVID-19 cases on campus. Earlier, I spoke physically distant with the chair of the Healthy Elon Committee, Jeff Stein, about cases on campus, measures we're taking, and how the Elon community begins to move forward.
So where we stand today, vaccinations of students is what percent?
So we have about 96% of undergraduates vaccinated. That's a little over 6,000 undergraduates, and about less than 4% have filed exemptions. So that's that's about 230.
Okay.
And over almost 91% of full-time faculty and staff are vaccinated. And I think we're seeing that in our case numbers. You and I were talking earlier that because you have 6,100 undergraduates who are vaccinated, you have a much bigger pool. So our cases thus far have been more vaccinated individuals. What we've learned, though, in studying the cases is those who are unvaccinated have been much more likely, percentage-wise, to become infected. I believe when we last looked, it was almost 20% of unvaccinated undergraduates had been infected. And that's really because Delta is so contagious.
What do you say to students who sort of have this frustration of, okay, but now I am fully vaccinated, the vast majority of this campus is,
Yes.
I have to wear a mask inside the classroom, where the university's position has always been that COVID doesn't transmit inside the classroom, right? There's no evidence of that.
Correct.
Yet I can go to certain places for trivia night and bingo night, just across the street, can get coffee just across the street, and I don't have to wear a mask and I feel perfectly safe. So what's the difference when we're here in the bubble, where again the vast majority are vaccinated, and yet we can go just outside and kind of have that choice to ourselves?
You're getting right at the heart of the issue of why do I have to wear this thing, and not every place is the same. For us, as I mentioned earlier, masks are a way that we are protecting, adding additional protection for those who can't be vaccinated, and for those who have children at home or relatives at home who can't be vaccinated. So we feel as though wearing a mask is just a little bit extra work, not a lot, but part of the privilege of being in this community.
So I want to ask a little bit about boosters and just kind of the future of what a fully vaccinated individual looks like. So I just got tested the other day because I was going on a retreat, and that's the policy.
Right.
And I noticed at the bottom of the My Readiness page, it said like you're a green lit student until December 31st of 2021. I hadn't seen that date because I obviously hadn't been tested being fully vaccinated. But so will I not be considered a fully vaccinated student come January, or what's the point of that date?
So that date was chosen particularly, we needed an end date. We needed a date to say, look, we don't know long term. And what we have heard is that these vaccines start to wane at 6 to 8 months, and that we knew that boosters were a possibility. That is not set in stone, that December 31st, but it is a way for us to point to the vaccine that we've gotten so far doesn't last forever.
So can students expect a potential booster requirement just for the spring?
It's very possible. It all depends on what the CDC says, but I think it's certainly very possible.
Looking to the next few weeks, what are your biggest concerns with everything in terms of cases? You say where you think we're potentially at some type of plateau. Where can you sort of see ourselves by the end of the semester?
You asked about concerns. The concern is always people getting sick, or what we're seeing is that some who are vaccinated think it's a free pass and I can take on really risky behaviors, and we don't want that. We don't want anyone to think that their responsibility to others in the community dissipates. I think any move into this sort of post-pandemic kind of thinking or work feels premature, and I think would be seen by many as not paying attention to what's going on right now.
Stein and I also spoke about the vaccine requirement coming up for the flu vaccine. And to watch the full sit-down interview, you can visit our website, elonnewsnetwork.com. And Pfizer announced today that its COVID-19 vaccine has been found to be safe and effective in children aged 5 to 11. In clinical trials, Pfizer says children were given a lower dose, about a third of the amount that is used for teens and adults. Pfizer is now seeking authorization from the Food and Drug Administration for the 5 to 11 age group as soon as possible. Moderna is also currently studying its vaccine shot in elementary school-aged children.
Elon remembered Vice President Emerita Joe Watts Williams during funeral services this afternoon. With more on Williams' life and legacy, our Emery Eisner reports.
A full life.
Today we honor Joe's confidence in this community and the gift that God gave us of Joe Watts Williams.
Honored today. Williams was involved with Elon for more than 7 decades. Former Vice President for Student Life and Professor of Education Smith Jackson says their friendship blossomed in the decades since she interviewed him for his job here, and her selflessness never faded.
Even in her latter days, when I went to see her, she gave me a gift. She gave me a lucky, I think, and others too, I'm sure, a lucky penny. You know, and just a blessing from her. And so that will stick with me as somebody who just is inspiring.
The news of Williams' death came less than 2 months after Elon's School of Education was dedicated in her name. Williams' family donated $10 million to the program, funding permanent scholarships for the school. Vice President for Strategic Initiatives, Jeff Stein, says though her decades of work for Elon will be remembered far in the future, her personality should also live on.
What's easy to forget is just her character. You know, you see me getting emotional because she's just such an amazing woman, so kind.
Jackson says as someone involved with Elon since just after World War II, Williams' legacy will live on for decades to come.
Ever onward, evermore, ever Elon.
Emery Eisner, Elon Local News.
Donations can be made to the William L. and Joe Watts Williams Scholarship at 2600 Campus Box or to First Presbyterian Church at 508 West Davis Street in Burlington.
Campus police are making changes to increase security in the Crest neighborhood following a series of car break-ins and thefts. Our Jenna Mandarioli followed up to see how they're stepping up security.
Safety for students in the Crest neighborhood is already improving, according to University Police Chief Joe Lemire. He says they have plans to install security cameras and patrol the area with unmarked cars. Suspects of the break-ins have been identified by campus police, but Lemire says they are minors, probably local high school students, and their information will not be released.
But as our department, the town of Elon, and Burlington Police Department work together, there may have been some other incidents they're involved in. So it takes several weeks when there's multiple people involved to actually filter out who did what.
Lemire says added surveillance and construction near the Francis Center makes the area busier, so there will be more traffic for the police department to patrol, and as a result, a greater police presence near Crest.
I spoke with University Police, and they're planning on installing these security cameras on the lampposts and telephone poles behind me at the entrance and exit points of Crest neighborhood. They've been in touch with Residence Life and Crest Management. I reached out to Residence Life and Crest Management about these installations and have not heard back.
When you get a reputation that you have cameras and a success rate of catching people that do things wrong, it'll become very unattractive for someone to say, let's go there and commit a crime when they know they're going to get caught.
While Elon Campus Security is committed to protecting Elon neighborhoods, they still value students' privacy.
We want there to be technology, we want there to be safety, but we don't want there to be so much that I don't like living where I live. You know, a heavy police presence is good to feel safe, but you don't want it so heavy that I don't like coming and going from there, or I don't want so much camera security that my every move is watched. So we want to find that balance to make it safe, but not uncomfortable.
Jenna Mandarioli, Elon Local News.
Lemire hopes to finish installing the new security systems in the next few weeks.
It's the first family weekend for many Elon families. We'll hear from parents right after this.
The weather is expected to be beautiful for Parents Weekend. More on that coming up.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie, nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Thousands of families will come to campus for Elon's annual family weekend beginning this Friday. Our Ellis Chandler spoke with parents who are attending for the very first time.
Elon parents are coming from cities like Nashville and Naples to visit their students for the first time since move-in weekend. Lauren Tavy says her freshman son is her oldest, and she's both excited and nervous to visit him.
I'm nervous that I am going to have a hard time balancing what I see on the checklist of, oh, we should go to this and we should go to that, with what he maybe is thinking a family weekend should feel like.
Tavy says move-in weekend was all about the parents, but this weekend is all about the students.
I'm really looking forward now to seeing Elon through Kyle's eyes, because that first weekend, it's not their eyes. They don't even know where their buildings are. You're trying to figure out where to pick up a Phoenix card. And you get it all done, but it still is I got it done. Whew, we survived. I don't think I failed. And then you fly home. And now it's going to be fun to see it from his point of view.
Lana Myers has a son who's a sophomore. Even though last year's family weekend festivities were virtual, she says she doesn't feel like she's missed out.
Because I don't know what I am missing. So because I don't have another child to compare it with, I don't feel like I've missed anything. It probably makes me anticipate and more excited for what we do get to do.
Myers says she hopes nothing gets in the way for those who want to celebrate.
I do hope that everybody is able to get on campus who wants to be there. I hope I hope the kids stay healthy, that there's not any kids that end up having to be quarantined and can't enjoy the weekend with their family. That would be a bummer.
Ellis Chandler, Elon Local News.
A full calendar of this weekend's events can be found on the Parent Engagement website at elon.edu/parents.
Students who are on the wait list for all of this year's winter term programs received an email notification from the Global Education Center that their statuses were changed to withdrawn. Senior Sam Moreland was one of these students on the wait list. When she received the email saying wait list had closed, she was emotional. This was her last chance to study abroad before she graduates.
I cried a little bit. I was like, oh, like, dang, that really sucks. But I think the worst part was they kept sending me emails about me moving up in the wait list, which was just hard because then I was like number 4 on the wait list and they were like, oops, you're withdrawn. And I was like, oh, okay. Why did you even tell me that I kept moving up if you guys were just I wasn't gonna get it, so.
GEC did not respond to Elon News Network's request for the total number of students who were dropped from the wait list.
All right, and for the weather ahead, we're joined now by Hope Swear, who is live for us outside under the Oaks. Hope, good evening to you. How's the weather out there?
Good evening, Elon. I'm standing out here under the Oaks to give you your Phoenix 5-day forecast. Make sure you stay dry starting tomorrow through Thursday, as we are expecting rain with high temperatures ranging from the low to mid 70s. Luckily, you can tell your parents to leave their rain jackets at home and prepare for a beautiful Parents' Weekend on campus. On Friday, we are expecting high temperatures of 73 and sunny skies. On Saturday, the high temperature will be 75, which will be beautiful football weather for our second home game against William and Mary. Have a great week, and back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Hope Swear live outside under the Oaks for us this evening. Hope, good to see you back, and thank you.
Women's golf has the home advantage today in their invitational after the break.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education. What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else? Or will you dare do something different? Like be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts? Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget. That'd be cool. Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help.
You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Jason Reynolds, co-author of this year's common reading book, Stamped, Racism, Anti-Racism, and You, is set to give a keynote address to Elon tomorrow evening. The book discusses how deeply embedded racism is in our nation's history, systems, and structures. The address will be streamed tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. at elon.edu/live.
Harris Teeter will be returning to shortened store hours until further notice. This will not just affect the location in Burlington. All 250 stores across the country will now be closing at 9 p.m., which is 2 hours earlier than normal. According to the company, this change is meant to help with staffing, cleaning, and restocking. The company released a statement saying, quote, "We believe closing our stores earlier will allow our valued associates to take their earned days off, efficiently process express lane orders, manage labor in this difficult employment environment, ensure excellent closing to better prepare for the following day, and make certain that our stores are a clean, safe place to work and shop." Early shopping hours for seniors and other high-risk groups for the coronavirus will still be in effect from 6 to 8 Monday and Thursday mornings.
The women's golf team is competing in the second annual Elon Invitational today and tomorrow at Alamance Country Club. Elon sophomore Lottie Fox says the Alamance is one of her favorite courses and that playing at home only adds to the excitement.
Golf isn't really a sport that people come out to like football, but to have an event where people are able to watch us, it's really something special.
Completed 36 holes and will play 18 more tomorrow. Fox shot 2 over par for the round and is currently tied for 20th individually. She says the team's goal is to win the tournament.
It's a home course. We know the teams that we're playing up against, we can beat them. We've beat them in the past. And we always want to bring home that trophy from our home tournament. So we are in it to win it.
The team with the lowest overall score after tomorrow's final round will win the tournament. Elon currently sits in 3rd place. And joining us now is ENN's own sports director, Jacob Kismore. Jacob, thanks for joining us this evening.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So not many people know about golf. Could you talk to us a little bit about this week's tournament and, what it means for the team?
Absolutely. So this is the team's only home match of the season. This is the 2nd year that they've had it. And it gives a chance for the players' families and some Elon fans to come out and watch the team, which is not necessarily the case in a lot of their other matches throughout the season.
Sure.
Definitely. So what can we expect for sports coming up this week?
It is a busy weekend of sports. It's going to start off on Saturday. We have the football team returning home to play against William and Mary. Both soccer teams will be in action, the men on Saturday night, the women on Sunday afternoon. And then the volleyball team will be playing a doubleheader at home on Saturday night and Sunday afternoon as well.
So I'm seeing here the last time we played them, we went into 5 overtimes.
Yeah, you're talking about with football against William and Mary. Yes, absolutely. That was 2019.
So should we expect to sit in the stands for that long again this weekend?
It's quite possible. Both teams are pretty evenly matched, and I have to say, Elon, I know that the score looked bad last weekend against App State, but they actually played a much better game. I would expect it to be a very close football game on Saturday.
All right. Well, Jacob Kismore, again, Elon's News Network's own sports director. Thanks for joining us this evening, and we will follow up with you next week.
This month is Suicide Prevention Month, and it's students.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes, and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Open road, here comes the Heffley family.
Whether it's a short trip or a long haul.
Estimated time, 47 hours.
They will beg.
You're hungry? I'm happy to provide.
They will plead.
Deep fried butter on a stick.
But whatever you do, don't wimp out.
Now you're talking?
Make them buckle up.
He can't hurt.
Remember, safety first. Cheese curls second.
Are you orange?
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a 4th ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're watching Elon Local News.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, suicide is one of the leading causes of death for young adults. This month is Suicide Prevention Month, and it's close to the hearts of some Elon students. Our Anne-Marie Bonner talked to students who remember someone the Elon community lost last year.
Paris Taliadoris remembers his best friend James as happy, energetic, and outgoing. James Markley died by suicide earlier this year, and since then Taliadoris has been advocating for mental health. He says discussing mental health is common for him, but after James died, it took a new meaning.
It's so hard to talk about suicide. Every time I talk to someone about it, they'll start whispering or something, and I hate that because it shouldn't be stigmatized.
Taliadoris works for Nate's Cookies, a student-run business James was supposed to be a part of before he died. They donate part of their earnings to suicide prevention and awareness, which founder Nathan Moskowitz says he uses to advocate for mental health.
Really, really important to reach out to those you love and tell them you love them, because you don't know when if something's going to happen.
Taliadoris' goal is to finish college, since he promised James he would help him graduate when they first met.
I made a vow to myself to help this kid graduate, and when he died, I was just like, well, how do I failed this promise to myself. How do I uphold this promise now? So I transferred that promise to me completing college, me graduating.
When he stopped focusing on the uncertainties that come with grief, he found comfort in knowing that if he were more available that day, he could have saved his life.
That if I was home, he'd still be around today. I could have done something. And everyone's telling me, you shouldn't be thinking like that. But it actually helped me overcome the what-if questions and put an end to it.
Club Rugby president Riley Cornelius was James's teammate and wants to make sure his story is forever remembered.
To see what we meant to him was definitely really impactful and kind of helped and kind of made me realize, being the next president and leader of the team, that I needed to, this needed to be something that wasn't forgotten about.
Anne-Marie Bonner, Elon Local News.
Any of the numbers that you are seeing now on your screen are available for 24/7 support.
34 undergraduate students are making history as members of the first ever nursing program cohort at Elon. Erin Poole is one of 3 sophomores who transferred into the program. She's excited about the new program and is confident in the school's capabilities.
They're like credentials.
Came to Elon for their pre-health and pre-med track, so I was not especially worried about their credentials, and I guess it's how easy it would be or how hard it would be, because I knew that Elon has established themselves as a school of distinction, especially in medicine, so I expected the same thing from the nursing program. Nursing Department Chair Dr. Tiffany Morris said the popularity of the program has exceeded her expectations. She says it's more important now because of the pandemic.
That are committed to that type of calling. And so Elon has done its due diligence and what I say part of this mission to produce more nurses and more nursing leaders, especially with the accelerated program, because in 16 months we'll be graduating a brand new cohort of nurses.
The university's nursing program partners with the Open Door Clinic of Alamance County, where students plan to volunteer next fall.
Well, that's all the news we have for you this evening. Thanks so much for joining us.
For all the news you need to know when we're not on air, visit our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
And be sure to follow us on social media, always at Elon News Network.
We'll see you back here Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern for another edition of ELN Morning.
Have a great week, Elon.